Welcome back to Dandadan, the show where we deep dive into Dandadan, a manga about the dum-de-dums. I'm C-Tactics, and today we're breaking down chapter 193, and let me tell you, this one did not disappoint. With just 7 chapters away from the mythical chapter 200, we got a lot. But before we jump in, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into it. Alright, so let's just briefly recap what went down this week. The dum-de-dums actually got on the airplane, and it is as you'd expect it to turn out. Momo now has 2 pretty boys fighting over her, with Gigi being called out hard by Zuma, who was then put in his place by a mildly angry space alien who was just cuter than a button. But we also have an interesting twist that I didn't see coming. Seikko has something clearly going on with her as she randomly breaks out into a sweat and clearly looks weakened. Now, the real question here, has old age finally caught up to the old bat? Is the hotness actually killing Seikko here? Tell me. And of course, we got the proper reintroduction to the sexual assault twins with their weird ass mama. Okay, so let's just talk about the very beginning of this chapter because wow, it's like Tatsu knew exactly what to do with the build to this fight on the plane. Like quite literally, it's like everything I wanted. So we are just treated to this awesome spread of a big jetliner to start off, and that honestly is one of the more underwhelming spreads, especially compared to what comes next in this chapter. I really did feel like this week's spread really wasn't that crazy. Especially like, you know, with recent memory, we have stuff like the Lord of the Flies spread. But then again, this is just to set the stage for the setting. I also really enjoyed all of the facials in this chapter, phrasing, and felt like these were the big highlight art-wise. So like when Zuma was teasing Gigi and back and forth with Momo caught in the middle, I really just thought all 3 of them were super duper cute in their own ways. I think this was a way for Tatsu to show off the personalities of the 3 and how they clash, but namely to people who are into Zuma and Gigi, and highlight once more that Gigi is just a hopeless boy who has fallen for Momo pretty hard. But it's not just Zuma or Gigi with the facials to kill, it's Momo as well, who was very refreshing for this chapter, which I think is just because we've not had a real focus on her in a number of months, at least since the manga's most recent return. I guess for me, it was just nice to see Momo again, and her expressions for this chapter just felt so refreshing and rejuvenating. I loved that moment when that face she makes when she remembers telling Zuma that she wouldn't share her name with him, which then leads to this expression, and I just, oh man. Why is Tatsu so good at drawing roundly shaped people? But outside of some of the highlights for the art of this chapter, I really want to get down into the events of what happened because there are some pretty big developments coming out of this chapter. For one, we have to talk about how Gigi is clearly being set up with this arc to confess to Momo. I just feel like this is the natural conclusion for Gigi fans to have their big emotional moment for him. Since his introduction, he has been quite protective and caring for Momo, and despite what he says, he still very much likes her. So I think it would be best for Tatsu to have Gigi confess to her when she is either turning back to normal size or after she turns back. This will allow for Gigi to finally be put to the side and have his own arc again and his own character, and give Okaru and Momo the chance to have their limelight as well, which we've never really seen, honestly. However, I do also find it particularly refreshing that Zuma is going to be in the dum-de-dums as well. It seems at least for the foreseeable future. I mean, he basically told Gigi and Momo that he is sticking around and will talk to Momo whatever way he feels like, which does feel like Zuma also is falling for Momo, and that is something we've seen hinted at through small moments in prior arcs, but also just the vibes. I hope we don't see it personally, but not because I think it would be bad or because I would hate it, but because I'm not sure what Zuma having feelings for Momo would do for this or really any arc at this point. Like, it would seem a little redundant to have Zuma, who is basically a polar opposite of Gigi, start to have feelings for Momo and repeat that same storyline again. It's like, oh, okay, she dropped the good boy for the bad boy. I mean, it's cool if you're into that, mind you, but I'm worried if it does happen, it will be and feel too forced, and thus slow down the pacing of Dandadan. We'll just have to wait and see, though. However, the big thing for this chapter was Seikko, and that's because I don't sit for Seikko, stop projecting! Actually, because it seems that the medicine Seikko took is affecting her. My mind immediately went to Goku having the heart disease, because when I see an old granny sweat, the first thing I think of is, oh god, heart failure. I don't know. I have some bad vibes about what is it going to take to get Momo back to her normal size after this chapter. I don't know, guys. I don't think we can safely rely on Santa Dodoria, but what do you guys think? Though, honestly, thinking more about it, it does make sense. I mean, she'd make everything super easy mode, as she is one of the most powerful spirit mediums in the world of Dandadan. However, I will say that she did look in form when she planted her foot in that pervert's face. Phrasing. And also, damn, dude, what is up with the flexibility on Seikko to pull something like that off at, what is her age now, 187? I don't know, man. I hope to be as nimble and as flexible as she is when I'm that age, because I'll be dead by then. But point being is that with all of this going on with Seikko, and the fact Zuma and Gigi aren't on the same page, and Vamola is still super kawaii and all that, I don't know. I don't think getting Momo back to normal is going to be anything other than a massive fight and a huge spectacle. But then again, that's probably some Captain Obvious stuff right there, because this brings us to the perverts of the waters and their horrible, horrible mother. They're back, and they're looking for Momo to get their revenge and have gone on the middle of a plane to do it. Seems smart. We'll see how it pays off. But I think for the most part, this fight is going to be more of a stopgap to help sort out some stuff between the characters, like establishing Seikko's status of if she is healthy or not, and ultimately, it will determine if the Dum-Da-Dums are going into what's coming next with an advantage or a disadvantage. Either way, Tatsu is not making it easy for the Dum-Da-Dums. So, coming out of this chapter, I have a couple of theories on where I think this is going to head. For one, I think Gigi is getting rejected by Momo. I think it needs to happen, and it needs to be shown that after, nearly 200 chapters, and with them both already knowing they love each other, just to finally get that big emotional scene in front of everyone to show that, yeah, at this point, Okaru and Momo are cognizant and aware of their feelings, and we need to move forward from that. I also think it would be refreshing to see a relationship just grow over time and not wait until the very last chapter for just a kiss. Nuh-uh. We've grown to want more than that in our shonen now. At least I think. Come on, Tatsu. Let's see the smooch. Let's see the smooch, Tatsu! As well, expect Seikko to be a massive deal. No way they just let Seikko unleash her true powers and run roughshod and make their lives easy. It's just a little too obvious. But also, this pervert family needs to be dealt with once and for all. I think after this arc, they probably won't be involved in the story any longer. I could be wrong, but I don't see yet what makes them anything more than just a set of characters meant to raise the stakes for a couple of fights, which is fine. That's really all they need to be. But before we go, since views are a little low with Dandadan being in the off-season and all that, I want to do a little bit of an experiment. So every week, I want you guys to share your favorite moment from the chapter or your favorite line. Heck, if you got fan art, you can join my Discord and share it there if you want to go even further. We love independent artists here at the Sea Tactics, but my favorite moment is, I think, easily when we see Momo remember how she treated Zuma by not telling her name. I also love the Gigi teasing, especially when his entire face turned the color of a tomato. It looked absolutely cute. And as well, you can't not mention Vamo-chan when she gets angry at Zuma and reprimands him. It's just nice that Vamola is such a pure character that everyone, even the bad boy, has to respect her wishes. I love Vamola. Such a clever little critter of a character. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a Dandadan breakdown. And join my Discord, might as well. See you next week for chapter 194. Until then, stay frosty.